Hello, this is Chuck Ridgway, Automation Technology Manager at Horner. Thanks for joining us for another Tuesday live stream. Well, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not talking about a product manufactured or sold by Horner. We're talking about a third-party accessory, but one that we think you should take a look at, especially if you're installing your OCS controller outdoors. So here's today's topic. Installing the Horner OCS outdoors with the Stahlin Solar Shield. So to help us talk about outdoor applications, let's bring in our OCS product manager, Mr. Casey Gardner. How you doing today, Casey?
Hey, not bad. How's it going, Chuck?
It's going really well. Now, OCS is used pretty frequently in outdoor applications, and really just about every model over the years has been used outdoors. But from your perspective, what is the best choice for an outdoor OCS?
Yeah, I think the best choice, which is a good wording, is definitely the XL Prime series. So again, that's a newer series, but some of its enhancements, including like the non-volatile memory architecture, where it's scanning or retaining everything once a scan instead of relying on a battery for a lot of the retained information, kind of make it an advantage product, as well as we have options for extended temperature ranges as well.
Yeah, that makes it a really good choice. Now, over the years, I've noticed that some customers have missed some of the details in outdoor type installations, and they may run into problems later. So one thing that comes to my mind, at least, is condensation management. So what can happen in outdoor applications, especially in the spring and the fall, is that if the enclosure heats up because of sunlight and suddenly the sun goes down and you have a big temperature change, you can end up with a big difference in temperature between the air inside the enclosure and outside the enclosure, and that means condensation. And obviously water and electronics and electricity don't mix. So that's one problem I've noticed that gets mixed, but it can be easily remedied with breather valves, which are now very inexpensive and easy to install, and I would definitely recommend that for any outdoor application. Any areas where customers get tripped up, or maybe even any misconceptions on outdoor applications that you can think of?
Sure, I would say one that is pretty common would just be the general sunlight viewability. Basically, for a lot of applications, I mean, there's really very few color touchscreens that are probably sunlight readable or sunlight capable. I mean, I like using our phones as an example, whereas, I mean, your top of the line smartphones are pretty much in like the 1500 to 2000 nits of brightness. So again, even a very expensive display for an industrial use may be in the 1000 or less nits of brightness capabilities, which is still it's good, but not what we would consider sunlight viewable. Whereas for like some technology, like in our XLE and XLT products, use transflective monochrome displays, which are actually brighter in sunlight than they are outside of sunlight. So that's a technology that's actually extremely good for sunlight viewability for those kind of applications as well.
That's true. And if you have a simple enough application, that an XLE or XLT might be a good choice just because of that. But, nowadays people want modern color touchscreens. That's just what people are looking to implement on their machines and their equipment, whether it's outdoors or not. Okay, well, thanks again for joining me this week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good.
All right, good enough. Okay, so again, today's topic is installing a third-party accessory called the Stahlin Solar Shield. So Casey talked about the fact that there really aren't any screens that are truly sunlight readable. So that's where an accessory like the Stahlin Solar Shield can come into play. So let's take a look at how we're going to break down today's topic. Okay, we're going to start with a quick introduction to the Solar Shield, and then I'm going to play for you an interview that we taped with the Stahlin product line manager late last week. He's going to tell you all about the product and why it might be a good consideration for your next outdoor application. Then we're going to talk about some other considerations with outdoor applications, including temperature ratings. And at the end, we're going to show you a video we shot yesterday on a very sunny day where I applied the XLW Prime OCS in an enclosure with the Solar Shield to show the use of that accessory in action. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what is the Stahlin Solar Shield? Well, we've got a photo of it there on the right. As you can see from the photo, it is an accessory for a control enclosure that, when it's deployed, has some real advantages in outdoor applications when it comes to HMI type screens and OCS type screens for sure. But let's jump now to the interview that I taped last week so we can hear directly from Stahlin themselves all about this new accessory. Okay, well, let's bring in the product line manager from Stahlin, Mr. Patrick Kane. How you doing today, Patrick?
Hey, Chuck, I'm doing fantastic. About yourself?
I'm doing terrific. So, in 30 seconds or less, give us a little background on yourself and tell us about Stahlin.
Yeah, hey, Chuck. So my name's Patrick Kane, first and foremost, for the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the product line manager for Rob Roy Enclosures, located in Belding, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That's right outside of Grand Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, we offer a wide range of non-metallic enclosures for industrial and commercial applications.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just excited to talk to you guys today about a new product that we launched last year called the SolarShield HMI cover.
Okay.
It's gotten off to a pretty hot start, and we're looking for that trend to continue.
Terrific. So
Thanks
this is
this
is an HMI cover that's used for outdoor applications, obviously. So what was the inspiration behind the Solar Shield?
Yeah. So in general, we listen to the needs of our customers, and our engineering team, I got to give them a lot of credit. They basically traveled the country and talked to some customers in some various harsh condition applications.
Mm-hmm.
And what they found was there was a real need to protect HMI screens installed in environments with high UV exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, they were asking for a product to do that, but also they wanted to shield that HMI screen from the sun, not only when closed, but also during use.
Okay.
So our team took that into account, designed a fantastic product, and we've definitely seen some great traction so far.
Terrific. Yeah, a lot of our products are installed outdoors as well, and this is it's a product that I think our customers should know more about. Now, are there any particular industries that you designed the product for? What were you thinking in terms of an industrial use there?
Yep. So it is designed for industrial markets specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It can withstand harsh conditions. And what we did was we looked at the oil and gas market, water, wastewater, communications,
Mm-hmm.
Remote monitoring and measurement, right? We took all of those markets into our VOC exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really developed from those customers in that harsher industrial condition market with high UV.
Okay.
So specifically, oil and gas was one where we received quite a bit of feedback on.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. There's a lot that comes out of that oil and gas industry, from an environmental standpoint, as well as, communication standpoint. All kinds of standards kind of get tested out in the oil fields. So any other features or functions you want to tell us about the Solar Shield?
Yeah, so the real key feature to focus on with this product is it's patent pending.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed out of non-metallic polycarbonate material.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a hands-free design, and it has side panels that open and support the cover so that customers can use their HMI screens without having to support the cover with their hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's NEMA 4 and 4X rated when paired with a 4 and 4X device.
Mm-hmm.
It's a universal solution, so it can be used with either metallic or non-metallic enclosures.
Mm-hmm.
And we stock as a standard item in our inventory in Michigan.
Terrific. So I believe that we're testing out your product with our 7-inch controller. Are there any other sizes in the works?
Absolutely. So, when you launch a product, oftentimes you hear a lot of great feedback,
Mm-hmm.
and you also hear about what else you need to do.
Of course.
So we had received a ton of feedback from our customers that it was a great design, a great product, but also they need larger sizes and potentially a clear.
Okay.
So that is exactly what we have in the works, and we think we're going to platform this within the next year.
Terrific. Yeah, it's always amazing the kind of feedback you get once you launch a new product. there's always more that folks want to see, but that's the best feedback you can probably get, right?
Absolutely.
All right, terrific. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today as we talk about this great new product. As I mentioned earlier, we've got lots of customers installing our product in outdoor applications, and this is a product I want them to take a look at to see if it might be able to add that little bit of extra protection as well as functionality to their application. So thanks a bunch, Patrick.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go. It was great for Patrick to join me last week to talk about this new product. Let's take a look at some of the summary of some of the things that Patrick talked about. Okay, so a lot of features with this Solar Shield. Patrick mentioned a lot of them. A couple of them I want to highlight here, and that is it can be used with either metallic or non-metallic enclosures. And as long as the product you're using has a NEMA 4 or 4X rating, like the OCS does, then that rating is maintained. Also, it is padlockable, so if you need increased security, and if your interest is, let's say, in impact protection, it also offers that as well. And I can speak to the fact that it was really easy to install. It was great for the Stahlin guys to send me a sample enclosure and a sample solar shield. And I can tell you that I was very happy that they included a drill template, because with most folks, it's, measure twice and cut once. With me, it's like measure 5 times and cut once. But having that drill template made me very confident that I was going to put those holes in exactly the right spot. Now, when you take a look at the Solar Shield in operation, and we're going to take a look at a video here in a little bit, you can see that when closed, it provides full impact and UV protection, and also protection against the elements, wind and rain and dust and that sort of thing. But then once you open it, then you can prop those sides open, and then it helps you kind of block the sun. So it offers a lot of advantages, to be sure. Okay, so let's set aside the Solar Shield for a bit. We're gonna again show you a demo video here in a few minutes, but let's talk about some other considerations with outdoor applications that you need to think about before your next application. Let's start with temperature ratings, because not all product families have the same temperature ratings. Now, a micro OCS, let's start with that one. We have plenty of people applying micro OCS outdoors, but it does have the narrowest range of all the controllers. And it wasn't necessarily designed with outdoor applications in mind. Now, with a little bit wider range, we have the XL series and the XL Prime series. And as Casey mentioned, it's really the best choice because of the fact that its standard temperature range is wider, and it is available in the Prime, especially without any kind of rechargeable battery and with the -22 extended temperature option. So that's an important consideration when you're choosing a model. Also, let's talk about material construction, because most industrial type HMI type products are not constructed with what's called UV stable materials. In other words, if you were to apply those outdoors, they would be unduly affected by the UV rays and cause the plastic to potentially become brittle and crack, the overlays to crack and become yellow. But you don't have to worry about that aspect with the Horner OCS. All Horner OCS products are manufactured using more expensive UV stable materials and overlays so that you don't have that issue. So that's another consideration, the material construction of the product you're looking to put outside. Of course, having a solar shield over the top of a product, even an OCS, is going to offer added protection against UV. Now let's talk about a couple other considerations. I mentioned in the open how I've seen countless customers kind of not think about the fact that condensation can be a big issue. So it's really important to go ahead and install enclosure vents, because that will allow you to equalize pressure and temperature in your application between the inside air and the outside air of the enclosure. So temperature equalization, as I mentioned earlier, prevents condensation, and pressure equalization prevents premature failure of the seals that are keeping the seal between all the components mounted on the door, as well as the door itself with the rest of the enclosure. So they're very inexpensive these days, very easy to install. Don't forget about those enclosure vents. Also, mind the temperature extremes. If you know that the temperatures that are going to be experienced in the application are going to exceed the ratings, don't discount that. You may need to utilize heating and cooling components. And in the future, we look to do a session on heating and cooling your control enclosure, but that's for another day. For now, just remember that it's something you need to consider. Okay, so now let's go ahead and show the result of my installation of an XLW Prime installed in a Stahlin enclosure with the Solar Shield. Let's take a look at it in action. Okay, this is the Rob Roy Stahlin Solar Shield outside in its native environment on a bright sunshiny day. So we've installed it, I believe, on a 16 by 14 enclosure. You can see we've got the Solar Shield mounted on the front. So let's open it up and take a look at its functionality. So we unlatch it, prop up the cover, and then using the side flaps, we can create kind of a lean-to effect, and they sit there nicely in some slots. A real benefit of that is it really helps to block out the sun when you're trying to read, again, on a bright sunny day. So between the top cover and the side flaps and your body, you can really block a majority of the sun that's inhibiting viewing of the OCS screen. All right, let's close it up and show you how to do that. It closes up just as easily as it opens. And now let's open up the enclosure and take a look inside. Not much installed in my test enclosure, just a power supply and a piece of DIN rail. But what we're really looking at is the installation on the door. So we can see the 4 installation screws. Very easy to install. It really was quite easy, especially with the included template. And the Solar Shield, when added to any enclosure, will maintain the NEMA 4X rating of that enclosure. And when you're not viewing the HMI, you get the added benefit of protection against UV and protection against the elements in general. So that's the Solar Shield from Stahlin Rob Roy. Thanks again to the guys at Stahlin for sending us the samples and allowing us to show this product to you. And we think it's something you should definitely take a look at. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up the topic today and look at a couple of important points. First of all, Horner OCS outdoor applications are very common, with the XL Prime series being the currently most recommended product for those applications. Also, we highlighted, of course, the Stahlin Solar Shield as an accessory that provides extra protection from the elements, including UV, and can improve your screen visibility. This is the point in the program where I remind you that we're here every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, whether we're fully live or live with some pre-recorded content like today, or whether we're fully pre-recorded. But in any case, we're here every Tuesday at 2, and we've always got people standing by to answer any questions you might have on the video. And if you watch on replay like most of you do, then you'll know you can give us your comments and questions in the comment section, and we'll get to those just as soon as we can. Next week, we think we've got a great topic for you. We're going to talk about using shared I/O with multiple OCS controllers. That's a control architecture often called warm backup. So we'll be telling you how to use OCS in this architecture, and there's a lot of information packed into that session for next week, and we encourage you to join us. Also, don't forget, we're celebrating 10 years of the Horner Lighting Group this year, and you'll find lots of exciting Horner Lighting Group videos alongside all the automation content on our YouTube channel. For those of you who haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel. It doesn't cost anything, and if you choose notifications when you subscribe, you'll be notified every time we go live or every time we post a new video. So, until next week, let's all get out there, hopefully into some sunshine, and do us some good.
you.